So you're looking for more information about Howell, Michigan. You're definitely in the right place. I'm going to touch on 3 pros and 3 cons of living in Howell, Michigan. Let's get to it. The historic town of Howell, Michigan, located in Livingston County, this 5.19 square mile chunk of land was incorporated in 1863 and has just a little over 9,600 people. What's going on, everyone? Andrew McManaman here with Living in Michigan, bringing you videos all about living in, relocating to, and everything in between the southeast region of Michigan. If you find some value, be sure to do your thing below. I would greatly appreciate it. Starting this list off with the pros of living in Howell, Michigan, number 1, the historic downtown. I don't know what it is about taking a stroll around Grand River and the Michigan Avenue intersection, but it truly is unlike any other. A small town feeling with an old downtown strip atmosphere. There are so many great places around town, from Cleary's Pub and Aberrant Ales to M Street Baking Company and Karate's Pizzeria. I would call that little radius of restaurants dangerous for someone with an appetite. Being as I grew up in Brighton, which is just a few short miles down the road, it's always been modern, updated, and very much city-like. But when you travel that few short miles to Howell, everything changes. This could be my opinion only, but it's almost like a switch gets flipped driving down Grand River. Pro number 2, the location. Howell offers a best of both worlds kind of feel. You can most definitely immerse yourself in the city feel by staying close to downtown, but you could also be in very rural areas in the township of Howell off a 2-lane dirt road with 10 to 20 acres. It's a preference, of course, but a city that offers such diversified lifestyles is one where homeowners tend to stay for a very long time and will simply switch back and forth between those preferences. Not only does it offer a yin and yang atmosphere, it also has a great commute to hop on I-96, M59, and Grand River Avenue. Last but not least, pro number 3, the affordability. Like I mentioned, Howell has an extensive offering when it comes to atmosphere, so with that in mind, you can bet there's quite a range in the affordability category as well. Within the last few years, there was a home that sold for as little as $40,000 and a home that just sold for as much as $2.75 million. With the median household income just over $46,000 and the median home price as of recording this video being $249,900. There's still hope for all those home buyers out there looking for their next home to move into. Getting a home for less than $250,000 in Michigan's housing market right now seems pretty unheard of, but it's definitely possible. Howell was rated 107.8 based on a US average of 100 for the cost of living. As you look at this chart, you can see that transportation tends to be rated relatively high. This category is based on maintenance expenses, car insurance, and mass transit fare for the area. Now, for what you actually came here for, the cons of living in Howell. Con number 1, and this one actually ties into one of the last videos I made about living off the grid in Michigan. Unless you're connected to Wi-Fi, it seems like there are a lot of dead zones for cell service in the area. And that's something that never hurts to look more into when you're on your home showings. I know it wouldn't be the end of the world, but with our phones taking on more and more responsibility as years go on, it never hurts to think long term. Con number 2, the traffic. If you're familiar with Grand River Avenue, then you know how backed up it can get. Taking it from Brighton to Howell can be a living nightmare depending on the time of day. The obvious times are before work and after work, so be sure to calculate another 20 to 30 minutes into your commute time because you'll most likely need it, especially if your work commute consists of some time on Grand River. Last but not least, con number 3, the lack of employment. As you heard when I mentioned the average household income being $46,000, it was understandable in a sense as to why the number is so much lower than the national average, and that's due to the lack of employment. Of course, there's an abundance of restaurants, shops, and service providers like me around the Howell area, but the city is by no means a Southfield or Troy, meaning a centralized location for all the big office buildings and corporate offices. The commute to better employment opportunities is much higher than a lot of people would like. The upside to this is a lot of employees are transitioning permanently to working remote, and they are looking for places like Howell to get out of bigger cities and get their 10 to 20 acre preference in order. Howell, Michigan is where Cleary University is located, a school I attended for 4 years, and my mom did the same in the 90s. I also played hockey at the ice rink, most known as Grand Oaks, also known as the 140 Ice Den today. I've spent even a good amount of time at the Uptown Coffeehouse and Aberrant Ales with a few classmates throughout my college career. From personal experience, I enjoyed the time I spent in Howell. It was refreshing to step out of my community I grew up in a few miles down the road and experience a new atmosphere with new people. If you have any questions about living in Howell, Michigan, or any of the surrounding areas, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime, and I would be happy to offer all my insight to help your decisions. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you got some value, please give it a thumbs up. Tap the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the little bell so you never miss out on an upload. I'll see everyone in the next one.